The Bugle, audio newspaper for a visual world.
Astonishingly, guys, I think we're actually live.
We are live. This quiz is. Are we broadcasting to the world, Chris?
It appears to be the case, Andy, on every channel we planned.
This is going way better than last time. Hello, buglers. Are you genuinely there? Welcome to the inaugural Bugle live stream live quiz. A new dawn in the art of quizzing. All of the questions in today's quiz have genuine factual answers. However, I will try to distract you from those facts by surrounding them with an absolute Vesuvius of bullshit. So what you have, the challenge for you is to separate out the bullshit from the facts. All of these questions do have a genuine factual answer. We're just going to give people a few minutes to join up, log in. Joining me today, producer Chris, who is running the technological side of this thing, which is lucky because if it was me, I would be standing in my garden talking at a plant, and that's so. Well, hello, Chris. How are you doing?
Hey, Andy, I'm very well, thank you. I'm extremely excited by the fact that I get the impression that people can actually hear us this time. And
this is unbelievable.
I know. I think I might now just go home and leave you guys to it, and the rest is up to you now.
Also joining us from the other side of the universe, Alice Fraser.
Hello, Andy. Hello, Chris. Chris, you can't go home. You are at home. We're all at home. That's the state of the world right now. But here's a fun fact, Andy. I love facts, but I hate fun.
Right, there we go. That's
which makes a quiz difficult. Like I think it's incredible that the fingerprints of a koala are so indistinguishable from human fingerprints that they have on occasion been confused at a crime scene. But if that is the answer to a difficult, like I love I think it's incredible that
about it. So if you're just joining us, this is the inaugural Bugle live stream live quiz. The quiz will begin very shortly. To answer the questions, you can either just write them down on a bit of paper, or if you want to join in using technology, there is a SurveyMonkey link. Chris, will you just explain to people how to participate in this? You call it quiz. Let's call it what it is. It's an exam. This is an exam, not only of what you know, but how you've lived your life so far. So, Chris, will you just explain how this is going to work?
Yeah, so we have a SurveyMonkey set up, which if you are watching this, as I assume you are, in either YouTube or on Facebook, there will be a link in the post that set this up, surveymonkey.co.uk/r/BugleQ. And that will take you to an entry form where you can submit an answer to every question that you and Alice submit this evening. There's no prizes, I don't think. But yeah, it should work. And I think, having looked at what you guys have submitted, that there is an actual genuine answer to everything.
Okay. I've just seen a message on Twitter suggesting you are muted, Chris. I don't know if... Is that the case? Now checking Twitter. So if anyone is listening to this, do let us know if you can hear Chris or not. We could hear him in our earpieces, but this is a technological journey for the Bugle. This is very much like us going to the South Pole with just Bermuda shorts and a tennis racket. We might get there, but it's not going to be perfect. That's what I'm saying. So no further messages on Chris being muted or not. It might be that the person who thought Chris was muted was muted their computer. We don't know.
I believe I was coming through right-legged, but now I should be in the middle.
Oh, right.
There's a lot of people online right now claiming to be colorblind. Maybe some people are just Chris deaf.
Well, Stuart says he can hear Chris on YouTube. So he's a bit quiet, says Sean, but he can be heard. Paul can hear you loud and clear. So I don't know, maybe you can just turn yourself up a bit, Chris. I mean, let's hear that glorious, mellifluous Essex twang. So we are shortly going to be launching this quiz. Now, what is the point of quizzes in a world that seems to have moved beyond fact and knowledge. Well, I mean, a quiz can
To
provide an
make bad
oasis.
people feel good about themselves, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a lot of the world that seems to be doing that right now. That seems to be the purpose of American democracy as well. So anyway, we are providing you the comforting embrace of facts, but also the comforting non-embrace of lies at the same time. So a good balance in this quiz. A lot of lies and some crucial facts. You have to tell us which things are true. There will be 7 rounds of a mixture of 4 and 5 questions each. General knowledge, a picture round, around all about Australia, the country that Alice Fraser is allegedly from. A somethingist round. We have to tell us, the biggest, most recent, smallest, that kind of thing. We have a higher or lower round. Around all about the great literary figure, Dancy Lagarde, which might be a bit niche to some people. Alice will explain fully. And finally, of course, a sport and leisure round to round things off at the back of this audio newspaper quiz. So just waiting a couple more minutes before we begin the quiz. Alice, do you participate in many quizzes other than the great quiz of life, of course, which we are all in 24/7, 365?
No, I used to play trivia with my friends to the point where when I turned 18, they got me a trivia game, trivia board. And then they gave it to me and I was like, oh, thank you. And I realized in that moment 18, that what I liked was my friends and what I hated was trivia.
I mean, this tells you something about the way I've approached my life in general. I was once banned from a sports quiz, in fact, a cricket club sports quiz, because my team had won it 3 years in a row, and I was told that I was spoiling it for everyone else. And it was a quiz only on sport. It was just a sports quiz, an annual sports quiz. And I was probably about 19 years old, and I thought already then it was pretty clear that I was going to waste my brain for my entire life. So
I mean, that's this namby-pamby nanny culture, Andy. That the people who are the best can't win at everything, that everyone has to have a consolation prize or a chance at a ribbon. You should have insisted on staying and come in a series of increasingly elaborate disguises to win every year and then unveiling yourself every time.
But, in many ways, as we've seen over the last week or so, selective knowledge of things is a very great British trait. I mean, we like to proclaim knowledge, but we don't like to actually know things about reality, for example. So, Chris, do you think we're ready to start the quiz yet? Have we got people?
Maybe we should point people to our website for donations.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, if you do enjoy this quiz or just enjoy the podcast and would like to contribute to its financial health and future, do go to thebuglepodcast.com and click the donate button. You can set up a recurring or one-off donation. So the quiz today, you can enter as yourself or as a team. We'll give you the answers at the end, and we'll be able to tell you who has done the best. Is that right, Chris? We will be able to have an official winner.
I mean, that's I'm optimistic that will be the case.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Is that enough?
But yeah, let's go. We may have a winner. I mean, again, that's it's like life, isn't it? If we don't, or if we just decide someone's the winner, even if they've not deserved it, life is unfair. Life is unfair and incomplete. And this quiz will reflect that. Will reflect the unfairness of the cosmic universe that we are sentenced to live in. But you will hopefully be able to know how you've done in relation to the rest of the universe who are also entering this quiz. The prize is the warm glow of satisfaction and smugness, legally enforceable smugness. Then you can lord it over your friends, loved ones, about the fact that you were able to succeed in a quiz set by people like us. Now, I don't know if that's something you want to boast about or something to be ashamed about. We'll leave that. I'm not going to judge you either way. We'll leave that up to you. There will be a total of 37 questions, I believe, one of which you should definitely be able to get. Some of which, I mean, some of them, you don't need. There's not so much about knowledge. Some educated guesswork, pure guesswork, even in some cases. Some you might know. Some you might know all of them. Who knows? And Chris, are we ready for question one?
Well, yeah, but just for the record,
yes.
Question one isn't a part of the quiz. There's not a right or wrong answer for it.
Okay, well, question one. Let us begin the inaugural Bugle live stream live quiz. Question one is, as you can see on your SurveyMonkey form, what is your name? What What is your name?
I mean, of course, there's a wrong answer to that.
Yes. Well, what are names, Alice? I mean, well, they're just labels, aren't they? What's the wrong answer to what is your name?
I mean, I regularly get emails from people who have gone to my website, alicefraser.com, and written to me at my email address, alicefraser@gmail.com, and then they misspell both my first and my last name on that third and final pass, which is terrible. I should also apologize if you hear rain. It's because it's raining. It's not interference. I'm in the right universe. It's all fine.
I'm in my shed in the garden. If it rains here, it gets loud. Currently, I think we're in the clear. There was a bit of thunder earlier on. In terms of getting the name wrong, the first time I was ever reviewed as a stand-up comedian, when I did a showcase show at the Edinburgh Fringe in the year 2000, the Observer newspaper came along and described me in what can only be described as a concise and to the point 2-word review as grindingly mediocre. However, I was so mediocre that the reviewer couldn't even be bothered to check how my name was spelt. So he spelt it wrong, which means that when you search me on the internet, you do not find that review. So that is an example of getting your name wrong, helping you out. So
I was very early on, I was once reviewed as Anne Edmonds, right. Who is a completely different stand-up comedian from me. It was a positive review, so I'll take credit for it. The other thing is Americans who pronounce their own names wrongly. They're my favorite. So
Chris,
people who might... Oh.
Sorry, Alice. Chris, we have a request to tweet out the SurveyMonkey link. Is that possible?
I will do that.
Yeah,
right
that will come out
I'll do it from the Bugle account. Give me
on the
2
Bugle
seconds.
Twitter feed. We will tweet out the SurveyMonkey link so you can all join. Sorry, Alice, carry on. Americans getting
their own names wrong. So they'll have, a traditional, whatever it happens to be, perhaps a traditional Irish name that they will then both spell and pronounce incorrectly.
But that's the benefit of starting a new country or imposing a new country on somewhere. You can make up your own rules, your own pronunciations, and your own name. So, right, are we ready for round one, Buglers and other quizzes? Are you all set for so the SurveyMonkey link has been tweeted out now. I think we are ready for round one. If you do join in late, obviously you won't hear me saying if you do join in late. A message coming up from Dave. Hello, Dave, friend of the show. Saying there was a superb Bugle today. If you want to listen to the show we recorded yesterday, Busy Week here at the Bugle, that is also available. But do not listen to it during this quiz. We want your full, undivided attention for the rigorous examination of everything you know and everything you stand for that is coming up over the next however long these overwritten questions. I'm laying my cards on the table. You know how this is going to go. If you've listened to the show, you know this is not going to be a straight in and out quiz. There
was at one point on our email chain a question from Andy about whether we have enough questions, and I said I'm pretty sure we have too many questions.
Well, we'll let the relative size of the audience at the start of the quiz and the end of the quiz decide who was right on that one, Alice. So here we go. So do start. Have you all got your SurveyMonkeys up and running? I mean, this is exciting technology in itself. What is wrong with a stylus and a wax tablet? I don't know. So the question one was, what is your name? Fill in your name or your team name. And we will see if there's any particularly outstanding team names. We may share them with you through the course of the show. And this is round one. And round one is the general knowledge round, and we're beginning with question two. So Matthew has already finished the quiz and got 19.2%. I mean, you can just do the questions, or you can wait for us to ask. I mean, this is the problem, isn't it? 19. Well done. I'm hoping that you will be able to do better than that. The rest of you, if any of you get 100%, then you're probably my family, who I've already told the questions to. Right, who hopefully are listening in the living room as we speak. Question two, which is the real question one, but let's go with question two. All comedians spend 20 minutes a day praying to Dionysius, the patron saint of comedy, who was beheaded after converting to Christianity in the middle of a gig in the year 303 AD, provoking much heckling and causing his agent to storm off in a huff, muttering the words "career suicide" under his breath. So Dionysius is the patron saint of comedy. But what other groups does the late former actor also patronize? So what else is Genesius the patron saint of? Is it A, stenographers? The reason being that at his trial, Genesius cured the court stenographer, Pam, of cramp in the wrist by getting her to do some dance moves. Is it B, anaesthetists? Comedy and anesthesia have a surprisingly close relationship, I have found at some of my gigs. Is it C, he was the patron saint of worms and worm enthusiasts? Genesius was credited with an official miracle as he was sanctified after saving a lonely worm from being eaten by a pigeon when he scared the bird off with his pet anaconda, making the bird think that worms are in fact baby snakes. And we're not sure whether they are or not. Still, science is yet to provide us with an answer on that, or indeed some other things that are slightly bigger issues at the moment. Is Genesius also the patron saint of nudists, after he confronted his Roman oppressors by stripping off his tunic and underpants and saying, "Lord, I leave this world as you made Adam enter it, plums out and pure"? Or is he E, the patron saint of bookmakers? Genesius preached a sermon in which he claimed he had an inside tip on a chariot to win that weekend's big race at the Circus Maximus, attempting to draw a parallel with the inside knowledge given to you by the love of God, giving you a heads up in the great gamble of life. So, other than comedy, of what is Genesius the patron saint? A, stenographers; B, anaesthetists; C, worms and worm enthusiasts; D, nudists; or E, bookmakers? That is question one. How long did it take? This quiz is going to go long. Question two on your question.
Wrong, Andy. That is question 2.
That
not
was
question 1.
That was question 2. Correct. That was the first question.
This is like Jesus' birthday all over again.
Question 3. The second question. Question 3. Technology, you toy with us. Who or what is raphanidosis? Raphanidosis. Who or what is raphanidosis? A, Ravani dosas, as it's pronounced, are an Indian pancake dish similar to a regular dosa, but made with semolina, turmeric, and a combat level of chili powder, and were a favourite of Mother Teresa, who described them as, quotes, a sauna for the stomach. B, raphanidosis was a punishment for adultery. The ancient Greeks famously were a quirky old lot, and raphanidosis was a punishment for family show, adulterous gonadular confabulations that involved having a large-rooted radish firmly thrust up your posterior buttular orifice. That is what raphanidosis is, a radish-based arse punishment.
Punishment is in the eye of the beholder.
All things
and by eye, I mean butthole.
Option C, Raphanidosis was a Spanish gymnast, Rafael Nadosis, who won 3 bronze medals at the 1973 European Championships before retiring due to a pommeling injury. D, raphanidosis is a medical complaint in which the sufferer suffers, as sufferers so often do, in this case from an itchy and swollen earlobe. Or E, the raphanidosis is a 19th century BC carving of Osis, the ancient Egyptian tortoise god. The raphanidosis was discovered in the Raphanid catacombs of the Garandel Valley. The raphanidosis is viewed as very much the high point of 12th dynasty art. So that's your question. Question 3, who or what is raphanidosis? A, Indian pancake; B, radish-based punishment; C, Spanish gymnast; D, medical complaints involving itchy ears; or E, ancient carving. That is your second question of today's Bugle quiz. I hope you're all managing to fill in your answers in the time allotted. Third question of round 1, question 4 of the overall quiz, is about the celebrity Roman poet Catullus, the insultatronic lust fiend who was famous for writing poems that were so unfathomably rude that 19th century Britain was far more comfortable putting up statues of slave traders and mass murderers than translating his works into the English language. Now, Catullus had the hots for a lady called Lesbia in a big poetry-enhancing way, and he attempted to win her over by insulting all the other dudes in Rome who wanted to get inside her subbacula. In one of his poems, of what did Catullus accuse his love rival Ignatius of doing? What did Catullus accuse Ignatius of doing? Was it A, having sex with a bronze statue of the she-wolf, which raised mythical Rome founding brothers Romulus and Remus? Was it B, having sex with an actual she-wolf? Was it C, cleaning his teeth with his own waz? Was it D, having a Peneid I think we all know what I'm talking about. Shaped like a rotten parsnip, roughly translated, the poem goes, at the bathhouse, it flaps like last week's rotten leftover parsnip. It makes Venus cry. It makes dogs howl. Or is it
I
E?
met that guy.
He accused Ignatius of having a visible erection during their mutual friend Montellus's funeral. So he, Catullus accused Ignatius of A, sex with a bronze statue of a she-wolf, B, sex with an actual she-wolf, C, using Waz toothpaste, D, prong like a parsnip, or E, boner at funeral. Those are your options for question 4, the third question. Third question of today's Bugle quiz. Are the streams still working, Chris? No, we can't. I can't hear Chris. I can't hear Chris.
Now we can't hear Chris.
We can't hear Chris.
No,
He's talking.
Chris is not
Sorry,
talking.
yes, they are, but no
All
one
right.
is more surprised than me.
All right, okay, so things are going well. We're on to question 5, fourth question of round 1. Question 5. Lots of creatures have seen the way the world is going and sensibly become extinct. The dodo, famously, the woolly mammoth, and the triceratops have all gone. The sensible republican, now extinct. Even more creatures, however, have never even existed, such as the Galapagos ferret, the tropical Arctic sugar penguin, Jansen's cockriddle, and the subterranean homesick beluga. Great song about that, of course, written by someone. But which of the following is actually an extinct animal? One of these is an extinct animal. Is it A, the fat-bottomed larrapin? Is it B, the Elon Musk ox? Is it C, the Vorkal snotterbuck? Is it D, the American gripe? Or is it E, the Bugle hartebeest? The Bugle hartebeest is option E. Fat-bottomed larrapin. A, Elon Musk ox. B, C is the Vorkal snotterbuck. D, the American gripe. E, the Bugle hartebeest. Which is the genuine extinct animal? And the final question of your general knowledge round in this Bugle live stream live quiz is question 6 of the overall quiz. Who or what is Chijik Pijik? So, who or what is Chijik Pijik? I've not made this up. Well, I've made some of it up, but not made that up. Who or what is Chijik Pijik? Is it A, a Russian animated cartoon train, similar in style to Thomas the Tank Engine, but who chugged across Siberia to the gulags, singing happy songs to carriage loads of very unhappy opponents of Joseph Stalin, one of the biggest TV shows of early 1950s Soviet Russia. Is Chijik Pijik B, a small alcoholic bird in the finch family, an evolutionary curiosity? Chijik Pijik hangs around near canals and gets hammered on vodka. Is Chijik Pijik C, a Czech footballer? Chijik Pijik, famous, played for Dukla Prague, I think. Pijik, famous for urinating on the pitch in front of the referee after being sent off in a bad-tempered Iron Curtain era World Cup qualifier against the USSR, later saying, Brezhnev can suck my fat one. Pijik later managed the Moldovan champions, Rapid Kissy Kissy. Is Chijik Pijik D, an Anglo-Russian Indian dish? Very tasty dish, similar to the Indian mutter paneer, involving cheese and peas. Chijik Pijik, served when Queen Victoria, at the height of her love of all things Indian, hosted Tsar Alexander III, the Russian monarch, at Windsor Castle in 1883. The Tsar was violently sick, and the Russian Revolution happened just 34 years after that. Or is Chijik Pijik D? E? Sorry, E. E. This is one I never got on the phone. Is Chijik Pijik E?
You know, I think this quiz needs to be more confusing.
Is it E, a jail? Chijik Pijik was the nickname of a notoriously humorless Soviet penitentiary established for clowns and circus performers on the outskirts of Yekaterinburg, scene of the famous escape of the Stiltwalkers in 1939. So who or what is Chijik Pijik? A, a cartoon train. B, a drunken bird. C, a Czech footballer. D, a culinary delicacy. Or E, a jail? That is the end of round 1. The answers will come at the end of the quiz. Alice, how do you think are you attempting to answer these questions as we go along?
I have not even begun to think about attempting these questions,
okay.
Andy. I know when I'm outmatched by facts.
Right, we are now entering round 2. This is a huge technological challenge because we're going to have some graphics in this one, because this is a picture round. It's a quiz. You've got to have a picture round. Chris is now, look, this is his big moment now. Look at him there. That look of fierce concentration. That's what got him to the very top of the international triathlon rankings.
If I can offer a little bit of feedback first, maybe?
Yep.
Multiple correspondents questioning whether that last round genuinely constituted general knowledge.
Well, that's what general knowledge is. It is arcane specific bits of absolutely useless trivia. That is what general knowledge means. It's one of the many euphemisms that we use, such as he passed away, rather than he spluttered out his last lonely and alone, desperately wondering what happened to Mildred. We got a euphemism. Sausage, that probably edible death tube. And general knowledge is absolutely pointless, brain-wasting trivia. So you might have a point, but also I have a point. So we'll just have to agree to disagree.
Who or what general knowledge is depends what army you're in.
General knowledge is written by the victors. Was that? No. This is a picture round. Alice will be helping us out with this round. We are theming the picture round around today's hot topic. The hot topic of the world today, sculptures from ages ago. But we're going to try and put a bit more of a positive spin on these. What you need to do is tell us whose body parts these are, starting with Alice.
Who is this hot hunk? A, celebrity Roman emperor and superstar of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius.
Can we see Chris, can we definitely see the pictures on the screen? Because Alice
is definitely on the screen.
It's on the screen. Alice, carry on.
I'm imagining it right now. You look at imagine this is Marcus Aurelius. Think about those abs. You can't think about whether the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts while crunching. Is it celebrity Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius, or B, American boo for Britain insurgent and split squad, American independence hero and number one president of the United States, George Washington? Are these George Washington's washboard abs? No wonder he said it's better to be alone than be in bad company. If I had a rig like that, I would lock myself in a mirrored dungeon as well. 4. Or is it C, physics whiz and gravity inventor Isaac Newton? That's what you get when you just eat apples, I guess. It's the new diet. Question D, Sistine Chapel commissioning Pope Julius II. The big Catholic beefcake forced Michelangelo to do a sculpture of him looking buff as compensation for daubing his special chapel ceiling with pictures of naked willies and men touching each other. Or question is the answer E, Jacob Rees-Mogg, the Member of Parliament for West Caricature and Minister for the Reversal of Time, commissioned a statue of himself as a Roman emperor as a treat for his wife when he first became a Member of Parliament. He also owns a world record 12 naked statues of Margaret Thatcher. So, who is the hunk here? Is it A, Marcus Aurelius, B, George Washington, C, Isaac Newton, D, Pope Julius II, or E, Jacob Rees-Mogg?
Right. We're on to question 8 now, the second of our pictures. Chris, just give us a nod when the picture is up.
I will. Give me a moment.
Just waiting for that picture to go.
Fill for about 20 seconds.
Fill for about. I mean, I love. I mean, Jacob Rees-Mogg. You would be disappointed if he didn't have a lot of stats. I mean, I imagine what he does with those statues. I mean, I don't want to imagine what he does with those statues of Thatcher. Goodness. Oh, I mean, at her funeral, you could just picture him shouting, "No, take me," and leaping in.
Done.
The picture is up. So here's question 8. Whose arse is that? Whose arse is this? Next up in our pictorial journey through the wondrous beauty of the art of sculpture. This pert posterior. To whom does it belong? Who could possibly be bebutt-cheeked with this beatific bottom? Is it A, Helen of Troy wooing, war-provoking, booty caller, love rat, Paris, stroke Alexander? He used to change his name depending on who we were trying to chat up. Look at that. Look at those buns. No wonder Helen of Troy ditched the famously wobbly-arsed Menelaus. Here's a direct quote from Homer's Iliad. And then did wobbly-arsed Menelaus mutter to himself, "To be fair, the lad is ripped." Is it B, this arse belongs to ancient Olympic champion athlete Perixímenes of Nemea? The Daley Thompson of the 6th century BC, Perixímenes won 4 different events at 3 consecutive Olympic Games, and the poet Pindar, who wrote poems about Olympic champions, described how Perixímenes' opponents would be distracted by, quotes, the perfect rhythm of those muscular glutii racing to victory, rousing Aphrodite herself from her sweet, sweet slumber. Is this but the property of C, champion stone slinger and cup-shock giant killer David out of the Old Testament? Eyes up, Goliath. Eyes up. Oh, too late. What a way to go, though. This version, though, not the famous Michelangelo one. This was done by Mickey Chisels' pupil, Raffaello di Montelupo. Is it D, the arse of Labour supporter Hercules, the original multitasker Hercules, of course. He worked hard. He played hard, very hard indeed. No wonder he never had time to put his underpants on. Every single sculpture, he's got the lot out. No judgment, but it's a fact. Or is it E, the arse of Novak Djokovic? This statue of the 17-time Grand Slam winner was commissioned for the west facade of St. Michael's Cathedral in Belgrade. Djokovic complained that it made his backside look too big. So whose arse is this? Paris of Troy. A, that's A, Paris of Troy. B, the athlete Periximines of Nemea. C, David out of the Bible. D, Hercules. Or E, Novak Djokovic. Those are your options for this. Chris, tell us when our next picture is ready.
I will do. You've probably got about another 10 seconds to fill, I reckon.
About another 10 seconds before Chris finishes.
It looks like there are some people who are just doing the quiz without watching the video.
Right. Well, I mean, that seems pointless, and indeed it might be pointless. But yeah, you can't judge them. Some of the questions do require a bit of background reading or background listening, which is what the bits we're doing.
Also, many of the correct answers are indicated by the twinkle in Andy's eye.
That's always the way.
The picture is now on the screen.
The picture is now on the screen. Alice?
Whose boobs are these? Oh, sorry, that's not in the script. Question 9. Whose boobs are these? A, is it Queen of Egypt and snake user Cleopatra? Don't use an asp. Friends buy from a legitimate sex store. B, is it the goddess of love, pioneering sexpert and scallop industry icon Venus? Venus traditionally used to like to drink the Australian classic drink Milo. Or is it C, the wave-ruling, rule-waving personification of Britain star and licensed goddess Britannia, the original Brit girl, here shown in triumph with her tits out? Or is it D, Russian Empress and pre-Tinder right swiper extraordinaire, Catherine the Great? And let me say, that is a great rack, and it's a very good indication that maybe D is the answer. Or is it E, future First Lady and one-time life model Eleanor Roosevelt? This sculpture was kept hidden. Oh, is that in the script? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The sculpture was kept hidden in a White House vault for years until it was moved in 2017 to another location to, quote, prevent it from damage after someone, it's not known who, had broken statues of Mary Todd Lincoln and Sarah Polk while apparently attempting to commit an act on them. So
who could that have possibly been in 2017 in the White House? We just don't know.
Whose memorial protuberances are these? Is it Cleopatra, A, B, Venus, C, Britannia, D, Catherine the Great, 4, or E, Eleanor Roosevelt?
So one
Catherine
more.
The Great rack, more like.
One more picture in our picture round to come. Chris, are we ready for the picture? Look at the technological mastery going on there. This is
it is definitely worth waiting for, this one.
Right. It's like watching Spielberg at work, this.
I'm just trying to frame it
magic
in a way that
behind the
doesn't offend
scenes.
too many people at once.
Right. Giving it away, Chris. Right.
It gives nothing away.
It's a piece of art. It's a bit of rock. How can we be offended by
and
a perfectly carved
on the screen?
How can you be offended by this? The question is, question 10 of your quiz, question 4 of the picture round, whose junk is this? Is it A, celebrity space invader and human pincushion Julius Caesar? Is it B, Athenian statesman and orator stroke gobshite Pericles? Is it C, the sea god and alleged mermaid hassler Neptune? Is it D, Queen Victoria's former squeeze Prince Albert, the lust-struck queen, had a nudie statue of her hunky new hubby secretly carved by Nelson Column Lion sculpture celebrity Sir Edwin Landseer? Or is it E, mine? It's my junk from 2014, and I think we can all agree that John Oliver is an awesome sculptor. Slow, but awesome. And there were a lot of sittings, but I think you now know why he left the show. So whose packet is this?
You're just laying out fan fiction fodder.
Whose packet is this? A, Julius Caesar. B, Pericles. C, Neptune, sea god Neptune. D, Prince Albert. Or E, Zaltor the Merciless. Those are your options. That concludes the picture round, answers and full sculptures, full unedited sculptures to come at the end of the show. That concludes round 2 round 2 of 7. And the answers come up straight away. Someone's saying they've got 18 out of 20. They're just going straight through it. So nice screenshot there of me. Oh right, I see what you've done, Chris. I'm seeing the screenshots of what you've done with that glorious torso.
What?
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It is now time for round 3 of our quiz. I'm going to give it a bit of background there. Round 3, that gives you a clue what the topic of round 3 is. It is Australia. Oh, I've got out of focus. There we go. It's Australia. So we will hand over to our resident Australian expert, the Australian Alice Fraser.
Yeah, we're going to start easy and get hard, like our national character. Okay, question 11. According to its national anthem, Australia is what by sea? A, accessible. Is Australia accessible by sea? Or B, not worried? We're not worried. Or is it C, girt? Or D, cuddled? Are we cuddled by sea? So according to its national anthem, is Australia A, accessible, B, not worried, C, girt, or D, cuddled by sea? That's a gimme. Question 2 is a question about wombats. The friendly people who will drive a hole through your wall with their heads if you accidentally put your head in the way of where they want to go. If you accidentally put your house in the way of where they want to go, they will knock it down with their head. Wombats are notable for their A, little hands. They have cute little hands. Wombats well known for their cute little hands. Are they well known for their extraordinary, unusual anuses? Are they known for their business acumen? Is that a thing that wombats are known for? C, business acumen, or D, wisdom? Are wombats wise? Are they the wise owl of the Australian landscape? So, are wombats notable for A, their little hands, B, their anuses, C, their business acumen, or D, their wisdom? Big questions there. The next question is question 13, and it's got to do with the Australian coat of arms. I bet you didn't know that we rode into battle with our coat of arms on our shields. We have a kangaroo and an emu standing there facing each other. Are they on the coat of arms because A, they're not on the coat of arms? What are you talking about? B, are they on the coat of arms because they can't walk backwards? Are the emu and the kangaroo known for not being able to walk backwards? C, because they were very helpful to early Australian settlers? Or D, because they're delicious? Are the kangaroo and emu delicious? And is that why they're on the coat of arms? I guess 2 separate questions there. Question number 14, the Gympie Gympie. What is the Gympie Gympie? Now, is it A, a sort of myth? Is the Gympie Gympie a sort of a myth? Is it a mythological wind that sweeps from the north and takes away your tents? Is it B, a sort of wind, but like a real one? C, is it a sort of annoying person? Do you be like, oh yeah, that Gympie Gympie over there, what a gimpy he is? Or is it D, a sort of a poisonous plant with spines that'll creep up on you and make you feel pain? So what is the Gympie Gympie? Is it a sort of myth? A sort of wind? B, a sort of annoying person? C, oh, look at Andy, what a Gympie Gympie. Or is it D, a sort of poisonous plant? Ow, a Gympie Gympie. This is question 15. It's the last question in this round. It's about convict women. The convict women at the Cascades Female Factory in Van Diemen's Land, not a factory for making females, but just a factory in which females made other stuff. Are they famous for A, drinking 100 gallons of rum in a week? I guess that depends on how many of them there were as to whether that was an extraordinary feat. Is it B, sending 400 passive-aggressive complaint letters to the governor, starting the fine Australian tradition of being passive-aggressive in the form of epistolatory insult? Or is it C, showing 300 bottoms to the governor? When the governor visited the Cascades Female Factory, did they all show their 300 bottoms to him? Or D, did they burn 40 buildings to the ground? Were the females at the female factory in Van Diemen's Land arsonists as well as arse showers? So that is question number 15.
Right, that concludes the Australia round. Thank you, Alice. A few more comments on Twitter. Someone suggesting, Chris, that you turn up your microphone to 12 decibels. from a fellow sound engineer. Someone has pointed out a bit of fair enough, a bit of a giveaway from the last question, which I was one of the options for the sculpture. Cybram has pointed out on Twitter, it cannot be Zaltor the Merciless. That is an uncircumcised set of gentlemen's relishes. So that, yeah, I mean, you can probably rule out option E.
I mean, it could just be like, I guess, the equivalent of a fig leaf, just putting the foreskin on for modesty.
Yep. Also, and this is a piece of research that I've conducted a lot of time, if you eat enough bacon, it grows back. Bit of science for you. Right, Chris, any feedback, any updates before we move on to round 4?
No, I mean, it's still working. Like, I'm absolutely astonished. And not only is it still working, people are still watching and listening.
All right, good.
I genuinely, I'm delighted to be here. So, thanks, guys.
Well, don't forget, if you are enjoying it and want to bung some money to the Bugles, to the Bugle, indeed, go to thebuglepodcast.com and click the donate button to take out a voluntary subscription or make a one-off contribution to the show. Round 4.
One moment, Chris. Somebody has just noted that the pinned tweet on the Twitter is to a different live stream to the one that we're currently live streaming.
Say that one more time.
Someone has just mentioned that the pinned tweet on the Bugle Twitter feed is a different live stream to the one that is currently on.
Are those the people who are enjoying it?
We've learned that 45 minutes, I guess, into the into the show. I've just corrected that.
Right. There we go. Right. It's time for round 4, quiz fans, and it's called Somethingist. The Somethingist, a round of superlatives, the biggest, smallest, oldest, newest. As Aristotle once said, size doesn't matter. But then again, that was when he was working at an ice cream shop and a screaming child complained that his vanilla chocolate chip 2-scoop cone was too small. But in this round, size sure as hell does matter in some questions. And if time is just a concept, then it's a concept that will help you to answer at least one of the following 5 questions in our Somethingist round. The first question 16 overall. Which of the following is the longest stroke tallest, the lengthiest in length, or heightiest in the most distancy? But I think you know what I'm talking about. The longest, I've explained this badly, that the longest dimension of these things. Is it A, the height of the tallest man ever, Robert Wadlow? The Alton giant slipped his feet into size 37 double A shoes, apparently. You know what they say about men with big feet? Massive socks. Is it option B? So which is the highest? Is it Wadlow? B is the men's high jump world record, still held by Cuban Javier Sotomayor, a man who really knew how to get from A to B, as long as A was in an athletic stadium and B was on a big mattress, and he was expected to hurl himself over a metal bar to get there. Option C, the Colossus of Rhodes' penis. On the one of the 7 wonders of the world trademark, the Colossus of Rhodes, sadly dead now, was a 32-meter high muscular man slab, and his understandably sizable prongulum dangled welcomingly over the harbour at Rhodes. Experts have calculated that the big bronze beefcake's Williard, was it longer than Wadlow was tall? Was it longer than Sotomayor's record leap was high? Or against D, the Statue of Liberty's middle finger? Could that be the longest stroke highest? Let's be honest, Lady Liberty must have been tempted to whip out the bird on more than one occasion of late, but how long would that bird flipping digit be? Would it in fact be longer than E, the longest tadpole ever? Or a giant fossilized tadpole discovered in California in the 1980s, nicknamed Big Baby Kermit. Was that the longest of the lot? Which is the longest stroke tallest? A, tallest man ever, Robert Wadlow. B, men's high jump world record. C, the Colossus of Rhodes, the length of the Colossus of Rhodes' dingling. D, the Statue of Liberty's bird flipping middle finger. Or E, longest tadpole ever. Moving on now to I haven't changed my background. No, that was foolish. This is the problem with leaving me in charge. There we go. Let's go. There we go. That is Wadlow in the background there. Too tall even to fit on the screen. Question. We're going to leave him up for the rest of the round. He's the one, the taller one there. Question 17 is about Tall buildings. The Great Pyramid of Giza was the tallest man-made structure in the world and indeed the known universe. Great double title that, for almost 4,000 years, until Lincoln Cathedral overtook it, tipping the tape measure at 160 meters high. But Lincoln Cathedral lost its title in the mid-16th century, much to the delight of furious ex-pharaoh and long-time pyramid resident Khufu. But what happened to Lincoln Cathedral that knocked it down back to size and made the pyramid dance in the Egyptian desert? Was it A, what happened to Lincoln Cathedral was an uncharacteristically feisty British earthquake that destroyed the entire church? Was it B, an uncharacteristically feisty English king, Henry VIII, in 1528, ordered the height of Lincoln Cathedral to be reduced so it was shorter than the old St. Paul's Cathedral in London, so his home city had the tallest cathedral in the country? That might have given Henry a bit of a taste for making things less tall than they used to be. I don't know if any psychoanalysts can delve into that. Is it option C, the spire was destroyed in an uncharacteristically feisty British riot after Henry's boy king son Edward VI banned gambling in 1549? Riot leader Pertwin Strange complained there was literally nothing else to do here in Lincoln shortly before he was executed, although he did win the spread on how long it would take him to take himself to burn at the stake. Is it option D, the spire of Lincoln Cathedral collapsed in an uncharacteristically feisty British hurricane? That was something that British church architects generally didn't have to worry about too much, to be honest. Is it E, the spire was stolen in an uncharacteristically heisty British robbery? Local Catholics, in a protest against Henry VIII's dissolution of the monasteries, climbed the central tower and dismantled the wooden spire, then hid it by building an entire wooden village named Greetwell. So what's brought Lincoln Cathedral back down to size so it was no longer the tallest building in the universe? A, earthquake. B, Henry VIII chopped its head off. C, a riot. D, a hurricane. Or E, it was stolen. Right, for the next question in round
somebody
4.
has just asked, where is the Bugle's bunghole to donate?
The bunghole to donate is on the Bugle website, thebuglepodcast.com, and there should be a donate button available for that. So now here comes another technological challenge, because for question 18 we go over to another Bugle co-host from the other side of the world. Chris, is it all queued up and ready to go?
Absolutely not. You're gonna have to give me.
You're gonna have to fill. There's a question coming up from Tom.
So
Ballard.
Andy, how do you feel like the quiz is going?
Well, it's very hard to tell, Alice, because we can't see it on the screen. We're getting little bit of feedback, but I've no idea how many people are feeding back to each other with some extremely non-complimentary anti-compliments. And I've realised that some of the questions are arguably a little on the wordy side. So, you sound like you're not surprised, Alice.
That is the pot calling the kettle a pot.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. I'm incredibly delighted. I'm happy, even if I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and no one is watching this, that this is how I'm spending my morning.
Yeah.
I'm not even being sarcastic. This is a delight.
Think of it as a knowledge of a breakfast of knowledge. A knowledge of breakfast. I believe is a novel by the author we're going to be having a round of the quiz about later. Is that correct? A knowledge of breakfast? Is that one of her early works?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We should hold out for that. The Dancy Lagarde questions. But if anyone is looking forward to that round, you might want to have a quick flip back through your Dancy Lagarde catalogues to make sure you're familiar with a lot of the major plot points of some of the more popular novels.
Chris,
So,
we are ready now.
We are ready. I mean, I don't know that this is going to work, but I'm going to press a button, and either something will happen or something won't happen.
And bear in mind, Alice and I can't see what's going on, so you're going to have to tell us when it's finished.
Okay, I'm hitting play
Or indeed
now.
if
It's a
it's-
minute and 15.
Right, okay.
Hello, Buglers. It's me, Tom Ballard, with my big brain. Happy quizzing to you all. I have a question for you, and it's in relation to my favourite thing in the world, cricket. Whee! Here we go. The longest cricket match on record is the timeless test between England and South Africa at Durban in March of 1939, which was abandoned as a draw after 9 days of play was spread out over 12 days. Fucking kill me. My question to you, over the course of that match, how many 8-ball overs were played? How many 8-ball overs were played? Was it A, 346.2 overs, B, 512.6 overs, C, 680.7 overs, D, 822.3 overs, or E, 914.8 overs? How many 8-ball overs were played during the longest cricket match on record? And perhaps more importantly, who gives a shit?
I think that worked.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay.
Oh my
So-
God, that was so long. Oh.
It's amazing how long a minute and 15's worth of silence feels, as I can testify from some of my early open mic gigs. Thank you for those of you who've tweeted in saying that you are A, able to watch it, and B, actually enjoying it. A tweet coming in from OSHA, I believe. Honest question from someone who only knows the sport as what you eat by the handful at a food truck. Is the cricket question one where Andy decided to confuse us? I think the answers are what happens when you fall asleep on a calculator keyboard. We will come to those later. That was Tom Ballard's question. How many? And bear in mind, he absolutely hates cricket on a deeply philosophical level, which is one of his many, many flaws as a human being. But it was the longest.
Well, you have to understand that in Australia, cricket is characteristic of a sort of a mainstream oppressive masculinist force that Tom Ballard feels as an intellectual and artistic gentleman that he might be naturally opposed against, highlighting the deep divisions in Australian culture between the intellectual elite and the mainstream sport loving people.
Yeah, well, I've managed to be in neither of those two groups and still love cricket. So, so his question was, how many overs bowled in the longest ever cricket match, the timeless test of 1939, which England eventually ended in a draw because England had to go and catch the boat home? Was it A, 346.2 8-ball overs, B, 512.6, C, 680.7, D, 822.3, or E, somewhat unlikely, 914.8? That was proper cricket. Cricket that makes you contemplate the meaninglessness.
The sweet release of death.
Exactly. That's what the sport was made for. And it's coming back in a month or so's time. I think we'll just get anything sport. The cricket will get us out of this lockdown, even if we have to stay in. Cricket is a form of lockdown itself.
Remember that we're still quizzing, Andy.
Oh, yes, sorry. Good point. Question 19. Which of the following things happened most recently? Now, some surprising things have happened incredibly recently. For example, life as we know it was still going on just a few short months ago. Seems like absolutely years now. On the 31st of May this year, this was an amazing, genuine fact, the last surviving child of an American Civil War veteran died. So her father fought in the American Civil War in the 1860s. And he had a child very late in life at an extreme age, and she died recently. And also, America itself, the USA, was a functioning democracy as recently as 2016. Incredible. But which of these following events happened most recently? A, the 1948 London Olympics. B, the state of Mississippi officially ratified the abolition of slavery. C, Germany finally finished paying off its reparation payments from the Treaty of Versailles, the treaty that so successfully brought World War I to a close and ushered in eternal peace for all humanity. D, Nicaragua legalized homosexuality. Or E, the 2012 London Olympics. Which of those was most... I mean, you can probably rule out A, but we don't know. It might never have... I don't know if they actually finished the closing ceremony, which means technically the 48 Olympics is still going on. Is it A, most recently was the 1948 Olympics? B, Mississippi officially ratified the abolition of slavery. C, Germany paid off its Treaty of Versailles tab. D, Nicaragua legalized homosexuality. Or E, the 2012 London Olympics, which happened most recently? And we have another video now for question 20 from another Bugle co-host. Look at the tension and excitement in Chris's eyes as he's queuing this up. How long's this one, Chris?
I haven't even got there yet. You've got to give me 30 seconds.
We've got to give him 30 seconds. So yeah, that's. I hope you're enjoying it. So I've had a few tweets coming through. I can hear the bleep in my ear. The Fish God says, what's particularly stunning is the obviously lengthy preparation and days of rehearsal that have gone into this. Well, I think what's become clear is that we focused the preparation very much on writing the questions and associated bullshit, and maybe not quite so much on rehearsing and giving Chris an opportunity to get to to get
the technology going. Well, for people watching, you don't realize that we don't see the videos as they happen.
Yeah.
So we just have to sit here doing our kegels and contemplating the possibility that we're just still photography for the meantime.
Andy Marjak says, I mean, apart from my wife asking me what's the Bugle, this is basically my ideal Saturday night. Sam Mull says, who knew Tom Ballard had a face? So that suggests the video did go out. And
Right.
I mean, that's one of the joys of podcasting, as I occasionally meet Bugle listeners who've been listening to me for 10 years. We've got no idea what I look like, and are generally surprised and disgusted when they find out. Kim Purr
The
says,
joy of podcasting is that very few people know you, and even the people who know you don't recognize you.
I think this is going to work.
Right, there we go. The joy of podcasting, of course, was a famous 1970s book with some lovely pencil drawings of men and women listening to niche interest audio shows. Right, Chris, we're ready for NATO Green's video question.
Okay, I'm hitting play. It's 35 seconds.
Hey, Buglers. Commandante NATO Green here. My question for you is this. According to American public opinion polling, which is the most popular thing in the United States right now? Is it A, social media companies deleting knowingly misleading posts on Facebook and Twitter by politicians? Is it B, burning down a police station? Is it C, missing watching professional baseball? Is it D, either Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Or is it E, Republican voters unhappy with the direction of the country and want to send a message by voting the bastard back in? Let's go.
Done. You're back.
There we go. That was NATO Green's question. If you want to hear him expanding on related issues, do listen to this week's Bugle, in which he came in cricketing parlance, his long run, and he did not hold back. To repeat the question for you, what is currently the most popular thing in America, according to opinion polls? A, deleting false posts by politicians. B, burning down a police station. C, missing watching baseball. D, Biden or Trump. Or E, Republican voters who are unhappy with the direction of the country but nevertheless want to send a message and, quotes, vote the bastard in. Those are your options. That concludes the somethingest round. We are now over halfway through. This gets long. I thought it might come in about an hour. We're already at an hour. There are 3 rounds and quite a lot of questions still to go. So let's crack straight on with round 5, higher or lower. And appropriately enough, given what we've just heard from NATO, it concerns this man. Now, this, in case you don't know, is the president of America currently, Donald Trump. Since he became president in January 2017, the fact checker on the Washington Post website has calculated the number of false or misleading claims made by Donald Trump in that time. So the false and the lies told by Donald Trump since he came to office in 2017. Now, is that higher or lower than the record number of at-bats in Major League Baseball history? So has Trump told more lies than the at-bats record in Major League Baseball held by Pete Rose in a career spanning 24 seasons in a sport where they play, frankly, and obviously, a ridiculously high number of games? So has Trump told more lies than the record MLB at-bats? Question 22, the second higher or lower question. Thank you, Mandy. Mandy has tweeted, Alice loving the hair, Andy less so. I mean, that is baldest.
Brutal.
Absolutely. Right.
I had to stop doing my kegels when you started talking about Trump.
Thanks for that added detail. That just shows we're all human. So question 22, the second higher or lower question. Are Donald Trump's presidential IOBs, instances of bullshit, technical term, calculated by the Washington Post, are they higher or lower than the number of miles cycled by Lance Armstrong in his 7 Tour de France wins? Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Hang on, I missed one out. Asterisk, I missed the 5th one out. It's a long race, the Tour de France, and Lance asterisk arms asterisk strong asterisk won it 7 asterisk times But did he cycle more miles than the number of lies told by Trump since he became president 3.5 years ago? The latest news on Lance Armstrong, one of his teammates has alleged that he rode the 2003 Tour de France on a Kawasaki 350. Starting to think we really shouldn't appreciate his achievements on a sporting level as much as we used to. Question 23, and I think you're probably starting to see a theme here, and you might be getting some clues as to the answers. Higher or lower, Trump's non-factual, consensual expectorations or lies, are they higher or lower than the number of games won by Roger Federer at big tennis tournaments? The number of games, not matches, every single game won by Federer at big tournaments. And by big tournaments, I don't just mean the 4 Grand Slam level tournaments. I'm throwing in Masters Series events. Then there's the next level down. The next level down, the Masters Series below the Grand Slam. There's about 10 of them in the season. Plus, have these on me. The Olympics and end of season ATP Tour finals. All of those over Federer's entire career, which has spanned 2 millennia. Admittedly, not much of the last millennium, but all of this one so far. But even Trumpelstiltskin would acknowledge Federer has played a lot of tennis, but has he won more games in those major tournaments, those big tournaments, including ATP Masters Series events, Olympics, Tour finals, and Grand Slam events? Has he won more games than Trump has told lies as president? Question 24. I hope you're getting these ones at least partially correct. Trump's POTUS lie tally, is that higher or lower than the total number of test match runs scored by Indian cricket legend and highest test run scorer of all time, Sachin Tendulkar? He batted a lot for a long time in a game that takes ages, but did he score more runs in tests than Trump has told lies? Let's move on swiftly to question 25, higher or lower. Number 5, are Trump's lies higher or lower than, I'm going to give you the last one with this one, the total number of runs scored in one-day international cricket by the self-same Sachin Tendulkar? He scored even more runs in ODI cricket, another massive cricket record, and India played an absolute unending deluge of one-day cricket during his 24-year international career, one of the greatest cricketers of all time. But did he score more runs in ODI cricket than Trump has told lies in 3.5 years? Question 26. Are Trump's lies higher or lower? My heart is breaking. Than the total number of successful scoring shots by NBA basketball legend Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt the Stilt could barely get out of bed in the morning without smashing some basketball scoring record or other. He scored 100 points in a game at one point. He literally had more scoring shots than I've had hot dinners. And I'm 45 years old and I love food. But is that more or less than the bits of hogwash emanating from the mouth of the current resident of the White House since January 2017? Higher or lower, Trump's lies or Wilt Chamberlain's scoring shots, not points, scoring shots in the NBA? And question 27, the last one in our higher or lower round. Are Trump's total presidential truth perversions higher or lower than the total number of shots played by Tiger Woods in major golf tournaments? The 4 majors of the year, the Masters, the Open, the US Open, and the US PGA. Tiger Woods' career going back to 1995, still going intermittently strong. He generally makes the cut most times. He hits a lot of golf shots involving golf balls with his golf clubs on the golf course, as the golf commentators would golf say. But has he hit more shots in majors? Trump has told lies since he became president. That concludes the higher or lower round, and I think we all need a spiritual bath at this point. I'm going to have a lie down.
We are getting more comments on that round on the YouTube channel than I can. It is scrolling so fast. I think.
Can you share? I can't. I'm not following the YouTube channel. I'm following Twitter. Can you share some of these comments, Chris?
Real bestie. This isn't a quiz. It's a forced indoctrination program. That gives you a general vibe of what's going on right now.
Danielle has pointed out the 2 options would be higher or lower, but it's the 2 things that makes no logic. Sorry, I think it's clear what was going on, and it's a roundabout lies. So even if it's not completely accurate, then that's meta quizzing. That is, I think you
One
have
says, Alice, blink twice if you're being held against your will. Well, I can't. Unfortunately, I am completely incapable of blinking. I can only wink with both eyes at the same time.
Kim Purr says, regardless of whatever the total of the Washington Post estimates, I suspect they're off by a few thousand. I mean, I don't know which way you mean by that. And also, this total was to the end of May. He's had a busy couple of weeks when it comes to bullshit. That total could be a lot higher than when their last updates was made. So Procrastinator points out that was a sneaky sport. It was a sport. Sport and politics. It's my quiz. My quiz. It's gonna go that way. So right. Another higher or lower coming in from Lionel suggests Trump's lies or the minutes this quiz takes. Thank you. Giving it value. This is value for money, but particularly bear in mind that it's free. Unless you want to contribute by going to thebuglepodcast.com and clicking the donate button. Give me a morning radio show. Did you see that? Right. Okay, I'm going to have a little break while we have round 6 over to Alice Fraser for our literature round.
So, as some of you may know, since January the 1st of this year, I have been receiving in my email inbox every morning a fully formed podcast from an alternate dimension. Now, recently I've been trying to get in touch with that alternate dimension and the Alice Fraser there, and we've started an email exchange, and she has managed to send me a full package of Dancy Lagarde novels. So, if you've been listening to the last post, then these answers will be very easy for you. But these are questions about literature. In The Wicked Wastrel, this is question number 28. In The Wicked Wastrel, which is third in the Harrowed Heroes series of Regency romance thrillers with a supernatural twist, the wastrel Dominic and Elizabeth, the governess/impoverished daughter of a duke, are caught in what compromising position? A, his carriage breaks down. B, her carriage breaks down. Feminism. C, they spend the night unchaperoned in one another's arms. Or D, all of the above. So does his carriage break down, forcing them to be in a compromising position? Does her carriage break down? Do they spend the night unchaperoned in one another's arms? Or all of the above? Question 29. If you sign up as a member of the Dancy Lagarde fan club, known as the Lagardians, you would receive a Lagardians fan kit. What would that kit include? Would that kit include A, self-throbbing penis, B, a build-your-own railway kit, as endorsed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, C, a will, or D, half a glass of water? So that's a question there. Is that A, a self-throbbing penis, B, a build-your-own railway kit, C, a will, or D, half a glass of water? Question number 30. Night Passions is a highly charged erotic thriller set in the mean streets of where? Is it set in the mean streets of Chicago? Is it set in the mean streets of Victorian London? Is it set in the mean streets of Llandudno in Wales? Or is it set in the mean streets of downtown? Question number 31. In Night Passions, the hero Sebastian is a changeling, born of an unnatural threesome at a satanic 70s swingers night. He is what? Is Sebastian A, half leopard, half human? Is he B, half leopard, half vampire? Is he C, half leopard, half human, half vampire, and all hunk? Or is he D, the godson of celebrity engineer Isambard Kingdom Brunel? That is A, half leopard, half human, B, half vampire, half leopard, C, half leopard, half human, half vampire, and all hunk, or D, the godson of Isambard Kingdom Brunel. Final question in this section, question 32. In The Dragon Lord's Lady, which is a fantasy romance thriller with a supernatural twist, Balenthian, the hero, is a ruthless mercenary. His love interest, Salexandra, is A, an orphaned healer who knows that the only cure for dragon fever is having sex? Is she B, a trained assassin and a whirlwind of graceful death? Is she C, the heir to a sexy, sinister feminist witch queen? D, is she bonded to Balenthian's dragon core?
You accused me of giving away the answers, Alice.
Or is she E, all of the above? So that is to say, an orphaned healer who knows the only cure for dragon fever is having sex. B, a trained assassin and a whirlwind of graceful death. C, the heir to a sexy, sinister feminist witch queen. D, bonded to Valentine's dragon core. Or E, all of the above.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's ultimate Bugle, really. That is a factual quiz about fictional fiction. So you can take some educated guesses at those. I think Alice Fraser's face stroke giggling might have given you some clues. That is your literature round, one of the great figures of literature. Dancy Lagarde, and do buy all of her novels. So we are on to the final round, just an hour and 10 minutes into the quiz. We are on to the final round, sports and leisure. Sports, do you remember that? Wasn't it awesome? And there's some not quite sport questions also in there for people who don't like sport. I mean, you have my eternal sympathy. Couple of tweets from Martin suggests off my plea for a breakfast radio show. There's a free slot on LBC, he points out, after Nigel Farage parted company with the radio station. And a procrastinator asks, when's the pun run to wash sports off the palate? Don't wash it off. Let it soak in. Andrew asks, do I need to book Monday off work to hear the answers? Might be a good idea. Might be a good idea. We just, I mean, what is time? It's lockdown. Time has ceased to function in a traditional way. And we're still on
question. What is time?
What is time? Yeah, fill that in on your answer sheets. What is time? And I mean, we're still under. I think we're over. Well, yeah, it's over 2 minutes per question. Bing, bang, bang. That's
last round, guys. We can do
last round. Sorry, good point. Last round, sport. Question 33.
We can blither in the fill time when they can fill in the questions.
Question 33 in the overall quiz. The final round is this: which of the following was not a Major League Baseballer? So which of these was not a Major League Baseballer? You know I like to make up names, but only one of these was not a Major League Baseball player. A, Urban Shocker. B, Ugly Johnny Dickshot. C, Pickles Dillhofer. D, Wonderful Mons. Or E, Cletus Poffenberger. Only one of them is not a genuine MLB baseball player from the past. A, Urban Shocker. B, Ugly Johnny Dickshot. C, Pickles Dillhofer. D, Wonderful Mons. Or E, Cletus Poffenberger. Only one of them didn't play Major League Baseball. Which one? Question 34, on a similar theme. Which of the following was not an international cricketer? So only one of these did not play Test cricket. A, Dick Puffer. B, Randy Challenger. C, Harry Burt. D, Snuffy Brown. Or E, Jack Crap. Which of those did not play Test match cricket? A, Dick Puffer. B, Randy Challenger. C, Harry Burt. D, Snuffy Brown. Or E, Jack Crap. For question 35, it's another cricket question. For some reason, two of the three co-hosts who submitted questions submitted cricket-related questions. This one from, a man you might expect a cricket question more than you'd have expected it from Tom Ballard. It's Anuvab Pal. Do we have the video from? Oh, it's audio only. From Anuvab. Is this ready to go, Chris?
It is, actually.
It is. It's actually ready to go. Here is Anuvab's question.
Andy, here is my question for the quiz. Which famous world cricketer was also cast as a romantic hero in a Bollywood film? I'll repeat the question. Which famous world cricketer was also cast as a romantic lead in a Bollywood film? Your choices are A, David Gower, former English cricket captain, OBE and commentator. B, Clive Lloyd, former captain of the West Indies, cricket administrator, and nicknamed the Big Cat. Or C, Australian fast bowler Brett Lee.
There you go.
Right. Thank you, Anuvab. Well, they only give you three options there, which I think is way too short. Way too short. So I'm going to throw in a couple more. And given that he didn't give you them, you can probably guess that they're not right. But, I'm going to throw them in anyway. So he's giving you A, David Gower, B, Clive Lloyd, C, Brett Lee, D, W.G. Grace, icon of the Victorian age, superb cricketer, an enthusiastic cheek, massive beard, or E, Vin Diesel, Vin Diesel played international cricket for Germany, would you believe? Qualified through his paternal grandmother before deciding that cricket wasn't all action enough for him, and he ended up doing a brief stint in Bollywood for that film due to his agent losing a game of poker. So was it A, David Gower, B, my personal favourite player as a youngster, David Gower, B, he could time the cricket ball like a prize souffle, B, Clive Lloyd, C, Brett Lee of Australia, D, W.G. Grace, or E, Vin Diesel. So that's your question from Anuvad Pal there. We move on now to computer games, which apparently kids think of as sport, and I'm sure there's loads of kids doing this quiz. This is to keep them interested until the end. I think it's probably past their bedtime now, but question 36 is this. Which pre-Second World War sports star has a current computer game named after them? Is it A, Australian cricket legend Don Bradman still has a computer game named after him? Is it B, 1920s tennis superstar and style icon Suzanne Lenglen, the French tennis legend? She still has a very popular game in France named after her. Is it B, the baseball transforming Boston curse prompting Bronx ballisticating super slugger Babe Ruth? Is it D, the Hitler irritating 4 gold medal winning literal athletic whiz Jesse Owens, who still has an athletics computer game on the go at the moment? Or is it E, billiards megastar Horace Lindrum from Australia, who's still a big figure in Australian sport, and a lot of Australian kids grow up playing billiards on their games console. So which Second World War sports stars, some of their careers, of course, overlapped when you continue after the war. Let's be absolutely precise about that. But which of them who played sport before the war still has a computer game named after them? Don Bradman, tennis legend Suzanne Lenglen, Babe Ruth, Jesse Owens, or Horace Lindrum? And that brings us, would you believe, Bugle fans and quizzers, to the final question, question 37 of this 36-question quiz. Another computer game question. What is the premise of the early 2000s computer game subtitled Storm Over Europe? So the computer game Storm Over Europe. What did it involve? Was it A, the Second World War? It was a controversial game that put you in charge of a what-if preemptive British strike on mainland Europe in 1938. Is it B, Storm Over Europe is a weather weapons game? Can you develop and apply meteorological weaponry to unleash hell from the skies and conquer the continent in the soggy mayhem that ensues? Is it C, a computer game in which you have to play the Visigoths slapping down the Roman Empire? You play Alaric, the king of the Visigoths, and you have to not only sack Rome in 410 AD, but then follow it up through the rest of European history and sack everywhere as cities evolve. Is it D, it's a game Storm Over Europe about referendums? You are a political campaign manager tasked with turning electorates to vote against their long-term best interests in a series of democratic votes, leading to the ultimate breakdown of the entire continent. Surprisingly good fun, actually. The referendum game Storm Over Europe. These games have such incredibly realistic gameplay these days. Or maybe I've just been watching the news for the last few years. Or is it E? It's a game about football hooliganism. It's a classic subject for a computer game. You have to cause distinctively British chaos across the continent under the cover of football. All very good fun, of course. So what is the premise of the early 2000s computer game subtitled Storm Over Europe? A, the Second World War. B, weather weapons. C, the Visigoth invasion of Europe. D, referendums. Or E, football hooliganism? Here endeth the quiz. That is it. We had a tweet from Larry. Can you repeat the questions, please? Yeah, let's just go back over the 36 stroke 37 questions. Hannah Madden, I've been listening to the Bugle for 12 years. I always knew the bullshit and pun runs were concerning, but this quiz has just reminded me how guilty I am of enabling Andy. I've got to take personal responsibility, but yes, it is partially your fault, Hannah.
And you can enable Andy financially by pressing the donate button on
the Bugle
website.
Thanks for that, Alice.
Have a note to remind you.
We will give you a few minutes to finalise your questions before submitting them. Chris, are you able to keep track on who's done particularly well? I hope you haven't been. I didn't say at the start actually. No cheating, no looking stuff up. I mean, that was very important for this quiz. And I know you're all doing this on the internet, and the internet is good at quizzes. It's very good at quizzes, the internet.
We'll catch them on the Dancy Lagardes. No one's done a wiki yet.
Ah, yes, good point. That could separate the cheats from the non-cheating goats, the cheating sheep from the non-cheating goats. Or one of Jesus's lesser-known parables. Yeah, we've got a few minutes to fill. Chris, have we got any more comments from the YouTube page, or are you?
Yes, we do have some comments on our YouTube page,
Alice.
Andy. Somebody has said they have 34.6%, which is a very good score. We've got some higher scores. We've got 65% so far, people filling in already. And people are very proud of themselves for completing not just the quiz, but the watching thing. Someone else says, YouTube is cruel. There's a John Oliver ad under this video.
This is a John Oliver ad.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Is it an ad for John Oliver, or is it an ad for us? Somebody says, I believe that Urban Shocker is one of the early Dancy Lagarde novels.
A few people saying 37 questions. I got 14 out of 26 right. A suitably Bugle outcome. A couple of people said they only got they're given 20, 26. I don't know. I mean, it's new technology. We've not used it before. I think it's gone quite well. It's gone very well. Way better than we were expecting. I don't know if there are any problems with
let's just say some answers were worth less than one.
Oh right, okay. Right. So you've imposed your value system on the answers, Chris, have you?
Don't we all?
I don't. Were they all worth about 2/3, or were some worth none?
No, no. Nothing was worth none.
Right,
but some things were worth very little.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Like life, really. You never know until you've finished something how much worth it had at the time.
Yeah, a few people claiming a solid 50%. Very happy with that. 38.5%. Good. I'm glad people mostly seem to have enjoyed it. Described here as fantastic family fun quiz with saucy literary questions. So what more could you want? What could you want?
I guess the winner, Chris, you can show them your T-shirt.
Oh, I'll show you now if you like.
Yeah, show us your T-shirt.
Quite seeing this. In the lockdown, I've been looking for desperate ways to entertain a 6-year-old. So we took our Bugle subscriber T-shirt, which you can get if you're a premium donor, and we tie-dyed it pink.
That's pretty nice.
Special, one of a kind.
Yeah, a lot of people. 16 out of.
Give the guys the answers, Andy.
Well, I thought we were giving people a few minutes to answer. To answer. Rebecca says my high-scoring round was on Dancy Lagarde. I don't know what that means. That my knowledge of fictional fiction is better than the real world. So,
someone says it was fun, but I'm worried how long it will take to read out the answers.
Oh well, the answers are going to take a long time. So,
let's go then.
Excellent. Sarah says thanks to lockdown loneliness and the Hello Bugle quiz. I'm happy to announce that I'm in love with the butt of this statue of. Well, we're about to give you the answers, so let's find out some solid. Someone claiming 96%. That seems you can only have got that by cheating. Anyway, right? Are we ready for the answer? Have we filled in enough? Is anyone still filling in their forms? I think we can probably go to the answers. Now it's approaching the hour and a half mark of this quiz, and I haven't had my dinner yet. So I think we're ready for the answers. So let me just get the any final questions you want to throw out there? Anyone? Hang on, I'm just getting the right. This is the kind of stuff that you edit out normally. So here we go. Right, the answers now. Let's go back. Right, so round one. Question one was, what is your name? Chris, have we had any good team names submitted? Have you been able to...
We've had nearly 1,000 entries. It's going to take me a while to go through them.
All right, okay, good. Well, if all of you have enjoyed the quiz, bung us a bit of money, it will have been worth everyone's while, other than the pure joy of an overlong bullshit quiz. Bullshit, but with real answers, which you're about to hear. So the first question
Someone says, oh, wait, they're actually going to read out the answers.
Yeah, we are going to read out the answers. There are genuine answers. This is a genuine quiz of what So question 2 of the quiz. First one of the general knowledge round. Of what other than comedy is Genesius the patron saint? The answer is A, stenographers. He's the patron saint of stenographers. Also, he's the patron saint of torture victims. So patron saint of comedians and torture victims. You can read into that what you will. Who or what is Raphanidosis? Raphanidosis is B. It's the adultery radish up the arse, the ancient Greek punishment mentioned by Aristophanes in one of his plays as a punishment for adultery, a large-rooted radish up the fundament, as the classical dictionary translated it for those nervous souls of 19th century Britain. And the lesson to that is eat vegetables. And also by doing that question, it means that my university career was justified. As does this question, Catullus said Ignatius did what? It was C, use his own urine as toothpaste. C, was toothpaste is the correct answer. And in fact, by Catullus standards, that was almost a compliment. Which of the following is a genuinely extinct animal? Is E, the Bugle hartebeest, is a genuine extinct animal, not the Elon Musk ox, regrettably, or the Snutterbuck indeed, who is entirely fictional. Who or what is Chizhik-Pizhik? Chizhik-Pizhik is B, a boozy bird. It's from a Russian folk song called Chizhik. I've got a picture here. I've just remembered I've actually got pictures for some of these things. Let me get. Oh, we've got a bit. Yeah. Oh, there's the Bugle hartebeest. Look at that. There's Saint Genesius. I've really messed up on there's a large radish for you just to imagine. And there we go. That is the Chizhik-Pizhik. There's a statue of it on the Fontanka Canal in St. Petersburg. There's a Russian folk song called Chizhik-Pizhik, which is Chizhik-Pizhik, which is this little bird, a siskin, I believe, by species. Where have you been? I've been on the Fontanka Canal drinking vodka. I drank one and I drank another one, and then my head started spinning. And they put a statue.
The siskin, more like the piskin.
And they built a statue of Chizhik-Pizhik in the 1990s, and there it is. So it is a drunken bird from a Russian folk song. So that is answers to questions 2 to 6, the general knowledge round. That one as well. I haven't used that. I did use that at the beginning. What was the other one I had? I've prepared all these. Let's have a bit of Bruegel. Question. The picture rounds. Chris, have you got the pictures ready for the answers?
Yeah, they are. I'm just loading them up now. We do have 1 or 2 people claiming to have 100%, by the way.
Really?
The average overall score is 43%.
Right.
This stage.
I think that's a good quiz.
And this is the lowest performing round of them all we're about to encounter now.
Right. Okay. So who is this hot hunk? Have you got the picture of the hot hunk, Chris?
It is on the screen now.
Yeah. See, I might actually be able to just double up the hot hunk. It is in fact B, George Washington. It is George, not Jacob Rees-Mogg. Sadly, that is George Washington. Would you believe? Have you got the full George Washington picture?
It's there.
Right. So question 8, question 2 of the picture round. Whose arse is this? We'll show you. It is Hercules. Hercules. That is Hercules' arse, not Paris. It's not the made-up athlete Perictimenes. It's not David out of the Bible. It's not Djokovic. It is D, Hercules, specifically the Farnese Hercules, a 3rd century AD copy of an earlier Greek sculpture of the celebrity mythical multitasker, omnisexual serial adulterer, and absentee father of hundreds, by the sound of it. Never out of the gossip columns back in the admittedly made-up day. Question, I'm losing track of the numbers here. I haven't put the question 9, whose boobs? It's C, Britannia. They are the boobs of Britannia, from a sculpture of the British goddess, the breast wherewith the holy milk of Britishness sprouts forth, besuckling her divine offspring, usprits with the honeyed nectar of fairness, truth, and justice, as the world would no doubt testify from the entire history of this country. And finally, for the picture round, question 10, whose junk is this? Chris, have we got the junk up?
The junk is there.
Yeah.
It is not my junk. Not my junk. The junk of Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar, the assassination victim of the year from 44 BC. That is, and I think it's probably good that contemporary leaders don't pose for similar sculptures. I think we are all deeply deeply relieved about that. Alice, will you give us the answers for the Australia round, please?
Yes. Australia is what by sea? It is girt by sea. Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are girt by sea. We are young and free, blah, blah, blah. Girt by sea is how it goes. I'm not going to sing you the whole Australian national anthem. If you don't know it, you haven't been listening to the hot hits of the anthem albums that are coming out. Wombats are notable for their anuses. Wombats have slit-shaped anuses, which means they do little square poos. And if you didn't assume that the answer was going to be anuses for the question written by Alice Fraser, you don't deserve to have anything in your life correct. Kangaroos and emus are on the Australian coat of arms because they cannot walk backwards. And apparently never admitting that you've made a mistake and refusing to look behind you is something that we as Australians aspire to on a political level.
Well, I think Australia, like Britain, is a country where looking backwards is a bad idea. You might not like what you find there.
What is the gimpy gimpy? The gimpy gimpy is a sort of a poisonous plant. Apparently, when you are pricked or stung by the gimpy gimpy, it feels simultaneously like you're on fire, being covered in acid, and being electrocuted. So that's a fun thing and a reason to wear long trousers when walking in the bush. And the convict women at the Cascades Female Factory in Van Diemen's Land are famous for what? The Van Diemen's Land Cascades Female Factory was known for keeping all the naughtiest of women. They were famous for showing 300 of their bottoms to the governor when he came to visit. According to the camp clergyman, Reverend William Bedford, 300 women turned right around and at one impulse pulled up their clothes, showing their naked posteriors, which they simultaneously smacked with their hands, making a loud and not very musical noise. So that's C is the answer to that question.
So that was question 15. So we're on to round 4, the somethingist round, the biggest, smallest, newest, oldest. Question 16 on the quiz, which was the longest stroke tallest man ever. Robert Wadlow was 8'11". That's 2.72 meters. The world high jump, men's high jump record by Sotomayor is 2.45. The Colossus's Willie was estimated at 8 feet. The Statue of Liberty's birding finger, well, I couldn't find exactly how long her birding finger is, but her index finger is 2.4 meters. And I reckon the birding finger is probably 2.6 and not as long as Wadlow was tall, and the longest tadpole ever, 10 inches. If you went for that, what are you thinking? The next question 17. What knocked Lincoln Cathedral back down to size? It was D, a hurricane. An earlier earthquake had previously wrecked the cathedral in 1185, but that's not what knocked the statue down. Is a Lincoln Cathedral. In fact, Lincoln is one of the many cathedrals in which I did not get married, but I wasn't far off. Lincoln Register Office is where we got married, the home of romance.
That's for all those people doing their Andy Zaltzman tours of Britain.
Chris, are we going to get Tom Ballard's answer to his own question? Oh, we can't hear you, Chris.
2 secs, guys.
All right, okay, just waiting for Tom Ballard's answer. Here's a fact about our wedding, and I think my wife certainly was listening to this, watching this at the start of the show, but might well have tuned out by now. We are well over the hour and a half mark. Is that on her way to Lincoln Registry Office, she flipped the bird to John Oliver. That is a little-known fact. She was in the car with her father, driving to the registry office, past John and some other my comedy friends, and flipped them the bird out the back of the car. So there's a little...
I knew I liked her.
For you. Yep. For no real reason.
I have Tom's answer for you.
Let's have the answer to question 18 from Tom Ballard.
22 seconds.
All right, Buglers, time for the answer. How many 8-ball overs were played in the longest recorded cricket match on record, the timeless test between England and South Africa at Durban in March of 1939? The correct answer was 680.7 overs. Wow, learning is fun. Goodbye.
And there you go.
Right, so there was C, 680.7 8-ball overs. Cricket now is played exclusively with 6-ball overs currently. And to give some context of how long that game was, the average test in England in the last 5 years has taken 302 6-ball overs. That was 680.7 8-ball overs. God, I wish I'd been around then. I would have loved that. And it ended in a draw because they had to get the boat. That is what sport is all about. The next question, question 19. Which of these happened most recently? B, Mississippi officially ratified the abolition of slavery in 2013. The 1948 London Olympics did happen in 1948. Germany finished paying off its Versailles tab in 2010. Nicaragua legalized homosexuality in 2008. And the London 2012 Olympics happened in 2012 and every day since then in our British hearts. But Mississippi officially ratified the abolition of slavery in 2013. I mean, it's a bit harsh to say that because it was due to a technical oversight, which meant they didn't actually send their ratification in until 2013. So it wasn't official. And to be fair to them, they had tried to ratify the abolition of slavery way, way, way back in 1995. No rush, Mississippi. No rush. Question 5 from NATO. Did NATO send us the answer to his...
No, he didn't.
No, to his question. What is currently the most popular thing in America? According to public opinion polls, it's B, burning down a police station. And he did send us the actual... sorry, I forgot to put this in the script. We got NATO, so here it is. So 50% go for deleting intentionally false or misleading posts by politicians. 54% in favour of burning down a police station. 25% are missing baseball. 46% approve of either Biden or 46% approve of Biden, 42% Trump, and 48% Republican voters unhappy with the direction of the country, but still willing to vote the bastard in. So burning down a police station is the correct answer for your question 20 from NATO Green. Round 5. The higher or lower around Trump's lies by the end of May 2020, according to the Washington Post fact checker, he had 19,128 lies by the end of May. And as I said, he's had a busy half month since then, but we're going with the end of May figure, 19,128. That was more. That was higher than Pete Rose's at bats. That was 14,053. It was higher than question 22. Lance Armstrong's Tour de France wins miles, 15,221. Not as much as Trump's lies. Federer's games won at Grand Slam Olympics, ATP Tour Finals, and the 10 annual Masters Series events. In his 21-year career, 15,660, less than Trump. Trump is ahead of the Federer games won at big tournaments in his career. Trump against Sachin Tendulkar's test runs, no contest. Trump wins that as well, 19,128 to Tendulkar's piddling total of 15,921 test runs. Surely the Indian master can beat Trump with one-day international runs. He scored 18,426, another win for Trump's lies. Trump versus Wilt Chamberlain's NBA scoring shots. Chamberlain scored a lot of baskets, but not enough. Trump wins again, 18,738 scoring shots by Wilt the Stilt. In the NBA, 19,000 plus lies by Trump by the end of May. Can Tiger Woods restore some honor for sport against the Leonardo da Vinci of lies himself? Trump's lies, 19,128. Tiger Woods' shots in major golf tournaments, 22,136. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We got him. Tiger Woods' golf shots. I mean, that is obviously not the updated total since the end of May. But in this quiz, we finally beaten Trump. So the answer's still higher or lower. Trump's lies were higher, 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 higher. And finally, lower. Question 27, the Tiger Woods one. Dancy Lagarde now, round 6. Alice, question 28 on the Wicked Wastrel.
Dancy Lagarde. Question 28. In the Wicked Wastrel, Dominic and Elizabeth are caught in what compromising position? A, his carriage breakdown. B, her carriage breakdown. C, they spend the night unchaperoned in one another's arms. You are wrong if you picked any of those, because the answer is all of the above. His carriage breaks down, and then her carriage breaks down, and then they spend the night unchaperoned in one another's arms, performing no sexual acts, although he does have an erection at the time. Question 29. What is in a Lagardian's fan kit? The answer to that, if you send in and become part of the Dancy Lagarde fan club, you will receive a build your own railway kit as endorsed by celebrity railway bridge builder Isambard Kingdom Brunel. That's answer is B. Question 30. Where is Night Passion set? Night Passions, the modern supernatural romance thriller, is set in the mean streets of downtown. Question 31. What sort of a changeling is Knight Passion's hero Sebastian, born of an unnatural threesome at a 70s swinger night? He is half leopard, half human, half vampire, and all hunk. And finally, in The Dragon Lord's Lady, who is Valenthian's love interest, Salexandra? She is E. All of the above. She is an orphaned healer who knows that the only cure for dragon fever is having sex. She is a trained assassin and a whirlwind of graceful death. She is also the heir to a sinister, sexy, feminist witch queen. And by having sex to cure his dragon fever, she becomes bonded to Valenthian's dragon core.
Right. I mean, sometimes, Alice, I think that I've wasted my brain. But I've never made up an entire oeuvre of literature by someone. I doff my cap in your direction. So
I read a lot of shit when I was a teenager, Andy.
Matthew says, so the only question higher than Trump's lows was one of the ones not included in the score. So was that? I'm still not quite sure how the scores worked out out of 26. Paul says he got all the Dancy Lagarde questions right.
Well done, Paul.
Great. Right. So the last, Martin says, if only I hadn't missed the first hour. One of the few quizzes where that didn't really matter, to be honest. Didn't really matter. How can you have Simon ask 680.7 overs if there are 8 balls in an over? Well, that's because of the cricket statistical convention of using point followed by the number of balls bowled, not an actual proper decimal fraction. So you don't round it up to decimal places. So it's what it means is 680 overs and 7 balls. There we go. Little fact for you. Bit of cricket facts. There'll be a few more of those coming out over the next few months. We're on to the final round of answers. Here we are. Question 33. Which of the following was not a Major League Baseballer? Urban Shocker, Ugly Johnny Dickshot, Pickles Dillhoffer, Wonderful Mons, or Cletus Poffenberger? It was D. Wonderful Mons. Obviously a made-up baseballer. He was, in fact, a genuine American football player. Full name, Wonderful Terrific Mons. Played one season for San Francisco in the late 70s. And his son, also called Wonderful Terrific Mons, the third, in fact, was a minor league baseballer. So sorry if that tricked you. Which of the following was not an international cricketer? Dick Puffer, Randy Challenger, Harry Burt, Snuffy Brown, or Jack Crap? It was B. Randy Challenger, Dick Puffer, Harry Butt, and Jack Crap all played for England. Snuffy Brown for the West Indies. Randy Challenger only made it as far as the Antigua and Barbuda team that played a warm-up match against a touring England side in the 1990s. Never actually played for the West Indies in Test match cricket, but he did get Michael Atherton out.
The thing about these answers, Andy, is if the people get them wrong, they know they've spent their lives well. Yes.
Well, exactly. Yeah, we're all learning and hopefully forgetting. Do we have Anuvab's audio? The answer, he tried to upload a video, but apparently his internet was down, so he could only send us the audio. Have we got the audio, Chris?
I do. It should be playing any second now.
The answer is Australian fast bowler Brett Lee, who starred in a Bollywood film titled Un-Indian, which was shot entirely in Sydney opposite Bollywood actress Tanishta Chatterjee.
There you go.
Right, so the answer was C. Brett Lee, not the two ones that I suggested afterwards. The film was called Un-Indian, and it's directed by Anupam Sharma and featured Brett Lee as the romantic lead, also starring Tanishta Chatterjee. And on Rotten Tomatoes, received 67% positive reviews. Now, some people who've been in several films can only dream of totaling that from their careers, mentioning no former Bugle co-hosts. And next question, which pre-war sports star currently has a computer game named after them? There's your answer. Don Bradman Cricket, still available for the PS4. Bradman last played international sport in 1948, but still got a computer game, bridging the generations. Sadly, Suzanne Longlon's Tennis the Menace, still in the ideas phase. Babe Ruth does appear in baseball games, but hasn't made it onto the title. Jesse Owens' Berlin Bound Along, that is long overdue. And Horace Lindrum's Zombie Mayhem Death Billiards 3, sadly, no longer still available. And final question 37 of the quiz. What is the premise of the early 2000s computer game subtitle Storm Over Europe? Here it is. It is football hooliganism. What better way to commemorate a source of national shame than turning it into a computer game? Apart, of course, from waiting a while and then putting up a statue to it. But apart from that, what better way than a computer game? Here's a little screenshot of the gameplay for you. Someone made that. Someone actually made that as a computer game, and someone might have bought it in a motorway service station on the way to a comedy gig many years ago as a joke and played it a bit. So there we are. That's the end of the quiz. Those are all 36 answers to the 37 questions. We have made it to the end. Thank you enormously for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found out some things you didn't know before and forgotten some things that you did. Thank you for well, if you have contributed to the Bugle, thank you very much. To do so, go to thebuglepodcast.com and click the donate button to hear more from Dancy Lagarde. Don't forget to download the wonderful last post. There we go. We made a graphic for that. Alice, do you know who's coming up or who's out on recent episodes?
Yes, we have a few episodes coming up with Matt Kirshen and with Aditi Mittal, NATO Green, as ever, Josh Gondelman. We have a whole host of returning guests and some new exciting ones coming up soon.
So there you go. Do listen to that and all of Alice's other work. Alice, thank you so much for joining us at early o'clock Australian
Thank you
time.
so much. It was a pleasure and a privilege as always.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. The Fish God says, I've learned a lot, none of it applicable in any imaginable circumstances.
Do you want the winners' names, Andy?
Oh yes. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yes,
we actually have
winners.
we
I
actually
cannot
have the
believe we've
result.
spent nearly 2 hours here and you're about to sign off without a winner.
Right. George Lloyd claims the reason why it's out of 26 is there's some questions and answers missing from the answer screen. Questions 3 to 6 and random others were missing from the survey answers. So sorry, but it turns out life is unfair, as we said earlier on. I don't know if we can retrospectively correct that, Chris, or not.
Who knows?
Do we know what? We don't know what happened there, to be honest. But I hope it's not damage your enjoyment of the show, your satisfaction that it's just a sample. But it's first. But we're in Britain. We have first past the post. Most answers to questions don't count under our electoral system. So you're just learning how we live in this country. So, Chris, who are the winners out of the 26 questions that have contributed to the final score?
We have 2 winners. They are Lupita Main and Adam B are the 2 winners this evening. Both are the only 2 people who, at the point of me counting, had every question right.
Right. Congratulations, and thank you
cheating.
For almost certainly cheating. Chris Langton makes us a final question. Maybe we can leave you with this on Twitter. Just asks, can I have my life back now, please? No, Chris, you may not. That concludes the quiz. Thank you again for joining us. Thanks to Alice. Thanks to Chris for all the work he did to make this happen. Thanks to Tom Ballard and Anuvab Pal and NATO Green for sending us their questions. Do tune into the Bugle podcast this week with NATO and Nish Kumar, recorded yesterday, covering some slightly angry stories from around the world, as you can probably imagine. My sister Helen is back on the Bugle for the first time in ages next week, and we have another live show in 2 weekends' time. So do join us for that. Thank you very much for joining us from Quizland here in Bugletopia. Goodbye.
Bye.